Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a ride review and evaluation of the Winspace Hyper 23 wheel set. And I'm not going to be evaluating disc brakes. Plenty of people have done those. I've actually got my hands on a rim brake variant on them and I'm very excited about that. I'm also very excited about the fact that Winspace and a few other manufacturers continue to develop products for lovers of rim brake because just like everybody else, we want to be able to continue to enjoy our bikes and be able to keep them relevant in terms of performance, comfort, aesthetics. Aesthetics is actually a big deal and all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an unboxing, then I'm going to do an initial ride impression where I just kind of like jumped on a bike well, not the bike. I did jump on a bike. I jumped on a bike with the wheels for the first time and I gave like, this is what I'm feeling. And then I'm gonna do like it's not a longer term, but it's a more complete ride evaluation after I've had an opportunity to ride the wheel set a few times. And I'm actually gonna talk about how it fared in comparison to the other wheel sets that I had on the Dark Star. I've had Mavic Cerium Anniversary, I've had Roval Rapide 60mm and tubular on here, and finally I've got the Winspace Hyper 23 SE's mixed depth 46mm in the front, 54mm in the back. So I'm excited to share my findings with you guys. All right, we actually have a lot to cover on this video. Let's go. As expected, the wheels came well packed. They sent out the accessories in a very nice bar bag, which included carbon brake pads, a product manual, skewers, tire levers, and they also sent out a Campagnolo 12-speed free hub so that I was able to run my gears.
You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and treat myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just treat your body.
On my scales, with rim tape and without the valve, the front wheel weighs in at 594 grams, while the rear wheel weighs in at 767 grams, giving us a total weight of 1,361 grams. Now let's take a closer look at the details of the wheel set. I did select the R45, like I said, in rim brakes because we're all about supporting that market. And I chose the R45, which is a mixed depth, meaning 46mm front wheel depth, 54mm rear wheel depth, which I think is a very nice compromise for weight and aerodynamics. It features carbon spokes, but the cost savings difference between these and the other Hyper wheel set that you have seen marketed is that the bearings on these is steel, premium steel, as opposed to being ceramic bearings. And instead of having that funky kind of 12K carbon weave finish, these just have a solid matte finish, which is very nice. I did measure the internal width of these to be 21mm and the external to be 28mm. They did arrive tubeless ready with rim tape and valve installed, but I'm going to be running them with TPU tubes. And the tires that I chose for these are the Vittoria Corsa Next in 26mm. I think that the rim design and the profile is optimized to run tire size anywhere between 25 and 28mm. And incidentally, I was running these on my regular rides just a little bit under 80 psi. Initial impression of the Winspace wheels. Carbon spokes, premium steel bearings. The steel bearings make a righteous sound, very different than ceramic bearings. It's a very visceral mechanical sound, love it. They roll well, straight out the box. Feel the quality in the construction. They're solid. No pings or funny noises. And they roll super smooth. The wind is very still right now, and I'm only going 19.8. So nothing to test out in terms of the aerodynamics. Tire pressure that I'm running is on these 26s. I think I was just right under 90 psi. But they feel adequately stiff, but not to the point where they're beating me up. They feel good. It's a quality wheel set, which goes to show, even though these are not the top of the line models, you don't need to have ceramic bearings to have a righteous set of wheels. Love that sound. I did take the wheels out on a number of rides. I did several solo, and I did my typical group rides as well. These wheels feel very good when you're riding easy, and then they spring to life when it's go time, meaning they are smooth and offer a fair amount of compliance, no excessive vibration or chatter or anything like that, despite the carbon spokes. And when I'm going at a chill pace, that's really appreciated. But when I apply power or have to fling the bike into a turn, they perform. Now, this ride I'm highlighting is a midweek tempo group ride, but it was very windy. Even on the wheels, you really felt it, and people were tapping out left and right. The wind gusts are coming in from my left side, but the bike remained stable because the wheels did not act like sails. Now, keep in mind, I'm on a steel frame, so definitely not the best in terms of aero, but I was able to keep steady and close gaps by applying power whenever I needed. So in a situation like this, the wheels perform admirably. A really important point to make about these wheels is, sorry, not these wheels, but the tires, is that, 26 millimeter tires at 78-ish PSI, I get a very smooth ride over most surfaces. Communicative in a helpful way, not in a, oh my gosh, this is annoying kind of way. I love the way they feel. But if the tarmac is rough, clearly some chatter gets transmitted, just like they did with the previous wheel sets, because lower volume, higher tire pressure tends to do that. I believe that running these at 28s or 30s at a lower PSI would make that chatter all but disappear, but notwithstanding, it did not put me off. Can you tell what season it is here in South Florida right now? If we're in May and we're getting it like this, jeez, it's going to be bad. Before I do my conclusions, I'm going to give a bit of a comparison between these Hyper 23 SCs and the previous two wheel set I had on this bike. While I didn't feel oh wow, these are so much better, I do feel an improvement in the performance over my previous wheel sets, being the Roval Rapide CLX 60 in tubular, and those Mavic Ceriums are really good as well. So it's not like I'm coming from crap wheel sets to begin with, but these are simply better, as they should be, and I'm really looking forward to see how they're going to fare in the long term. The Darkstar performed very good with all three wheel sets. The Ceriums are the best when it comes to braking because of their alloy surface, but were only marginally inferior to the Roval Rapides on the rides that I did. But I would have to say that the stiffness from the carbon spokes and the hub set on the Hypers make it a slightly better wheel in feel and efficiency over the Rovals. Not to mention it is much better in crosswinds. So the elephant in the room with carbon rim brake bikes is always braking. The 23SC has a 3K braking surface that's textured and aimed at improving rim brake performance. The best that I can do is that next month I am traveling to Panama for the ocean to ocean Gran Fondo. There's going to be a fair bit of climbing and descending on this. And I'm going to be bringing the Dark Star with this wheel set, and that'll definitely give me a better idea of that performance. But they feel as good as the previous carbon clincher rim brakes that I have tested from Elite. All right, guys, conclusions. I've got 2 negatives and a few positives. First negative is that Winspace did not send out spare spokes with this wheel set. I understand that they now have a US distribution center, which I'm sure if I had some sort of issue, I'd be able to get spares in short order, but they were not in there, so I've got to mention that. Second is that while I appreciate manufacturers like Winspace continuing to offer cutting edge technology in rim brake form for us lovers of rim brakes who we're not getting rid of our rim brake bikes anytime soon, it would be awesome if you guys made a tubular version of these wheels. Now, if anybody from Winspace Research and Development is listening to this, and if you guys have a skunkworks division secretly down in the basement of your warehouse somewhere, and you guys have made a batch of tubular wheels, I am your guy. Send them here. I will rock those bad boys out. That would be sick. Can you imagine that 28 millimeter rim width on tubulars? That would be amazing. Those are my negatives. These wheels roll well. They're solid. They feel smooth. They handle crosswinds very well. And then I mentioned this a few videos back, that I think that with the advancements in manufacturing technology and being able to bring products to market according to their intended design has gotten so much better in the era that we're living in. Somebody be like, so there's nothing wrong with them? From how I use them, there was nothing wrong with them. I didn't have an opportunity to see how they'd perform in the area of braking, but that's something that I'll be able to do next month when I go do the Gran Fondo Ocean to Ocean in Panama. Those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Panama on the Canal Zone township of Pedro Miguel. But anyway, I'm getting off track. When I first started riding the wheels, my first impression was like, man, these things feel so solid, but they also feel so smooth. And keep in mind that the previous wheel set that I had on the bike was the Roval Rapide CLX 60 in tubular, which is a very stout wheel set, not a slouch, but these just felt more substantial. And that really impressed me. So yeah, I think those are my conclusions, my positives and my negatives. Winspace did approach me and say, hey, we're gonna send out a product for you to review and you can keep them, and I'm keeping them. But they also offered a discount code. It's called Lewis10, which will get you 10% off. And if you use that discount code, I'm gonna get a little kickback. So if you have a rim brake bike and you're looking to make them better, a wheel set is a very good place to start. And these Winspace Hyper 23 SEs are certainly a good wheel set depending on what you roll. Well, they're a very good wheel set, and they may be an improvement to what you currently have depending on what you're rolling with. All right. Okay, guys, I think that's all for today. I appreciate you guys continuing to support the channel by watching, liking, commenting, and by subscribing. As always, though, our aim here at the channel is to inform, instruct, inspire, be blessed.